Shazam! No, nothing. No lightning bolt striking down, me turning into a superhero, nothing like that. Well, fuck you, wizard. Fuck you. Big bashing, lucky son of a bitch. One day it's gonna be my turn. One day! Turning into like a black adam of something, I don't know. Anyway, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, the brand new film set in the DCU. And I know all you guys are gonna be saying that now it's rebranded as the DCU. Personally, for me, between Man of Steel and The Flash, it's DCU. When it's Blue Beetle onwards, outside of the odd Elseworlds stuff like Walker Patterson's Batman and the Penguin show, which is connected to the Batman, and Joker and all the other stuff, it is going to. That's where I'll be calling it DCU. It makes sense, right? After Flash, before Flash, simple. Anyway, because Flash is the thing that resets the universe. And my guess I'm going to do the Daredevil thing with certain characters where it's same actors, different version. Because I think by the post-credit scenes, which I will talk about, and a certain character who shows up at the end, I have a feeling we might have a Daredevil where it's the same actor, different version, and all that kind of stuff, and what the first post-credit scene might be hinting, and what to come and all that kind of stuff. Mainly, my head thinking Soups and the Waller show, I think. Anyway, back in 2019 when the first film came out, it became a big thing because it was this critically acclaimed movie. Audiences were loving it. People who saw it, but it became like the lowest grossing DCU movie at date because you had Harley Quinn and all that coming around, and also like a bit of Wonder Woman and all that, and Suicide Squad, but that was during COVID, during the height of the pandemic. But it became at the time the lowest grossing film of the DCU. And everyone was like trying to figure out the reason why. What wasn't it clicking? What made the audience go, oh, that was fine, but they felt like they didn't have to see it again. I actually honestly am in that camp. For me, after seeing that first film, I'm like, yeah, it was good. I had some issues here and there, mainly villains, and it felt like maybe didn't gel as well with the super aspect and the Billy aspect of things didn't really merge well and mix well for me personally. But for the average goer, but it may fall in the middle, was that reason. And walking into the sequel, I was kind of curious what they were thinking of fixing, or trying to tweak, or them believing what it could be. And watching it, after me who just came back seeing it, I felt like, oh, this is going to rub some people the wrong way, or feel the magic of that first film is gone, because the whole big thing, the whole 17 again, 13 going on 30 aspect of thing of the kid turning into a superhero, Billy becoming saying one word, he's a music superhero, it's kind of gone, because this is technically like a Superman movie where you barely see Clark Kent. It's like seeing a Batman movie where you barely see Bruce Wayne. Actually, it's called The Batman. It's awesome. But you get my gist. Where Clark, imagine Billy's only in this film for 5 minutes altogether, if I think about it. He's in there for a couple of scenes. And then Billy's Shazam for the 95% of this film. So if the kid aspect thing of the kid becoming a superhero made that first film special for you, don't expect that. Do not expect that same level of that balance as that was in the first one, because you're not getting that. You're not getting that whatsoever. And I was kind of surprised. So clearly what they felt was, okay, people didn't really care about Billy, they want to see Shazam. So let's make it a really Shazam family, Shazam focus movie where he's in the suit 95% of the time, and you're like, okay, cool, awesome, bigger, trying to do the whole bigger and better, all that kind of stuff, and they go for it because that first film you could tell was on a budget. It was a low grossing type of film. Clearly, you know, the suits go upgrade and all that type of stuff. But you have bigger action sequences and bigger this and bigger that and bigger sets and bigger blah 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 blah. And watching it, I'm like, it's fine. I had fun watching it, but I feel like there's nothing really to hold on to. Like, they adding storylines like Billy is nearly turning 18 and he's worried that he's going to get kicked out in the moment because he's a foster kid and it's like 18 out the door in the government's eyes. And he's worried that his family is going to kick him out. I'm like, that's an emotional hook. That's an emotional gauge that you could, you know, feel, you know, emotional gaze and emotional hook as with Billy, and that's, you could drive that through the entire movie. But it kind of comes and goes, really. It's mostly really want to be, here's your good guys, here's the bad guys, and the heroes are trying to fix with the family. The heroes are trying to fight the villains. That's basically what it is. And you got cool action sequences, you got cool this and cool that, and this neat, you know, this humor. My audience laughed a little bit. It was kind of slightly empty theater, like, you know, more empty seats than full. But, you know, there's some good humor. You know, what's with our sons dating? What's with our kids dating older women? Like, yeah, that girl can laugh. And that, but you know, the performances are great. Zachary Levi, really, you could tell in this one, like, yes, you know, you can tell is now fully comfortable into this role, versus in the first. You know, Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren play as the villains. You know, nothing wrong with that. You know, they kind of do, because they're gods, they do say very godly type things and maybe sometimes cliche kind of power kind of dialogue. But, you know, when your goal is revenge and your goal is all about fury and you know, there's so far you can share and anger through dialogue. And that. The big cameo at the end, which is spoiled. I was limited up. Hearing that theme. I was like, when, to the point I was like, wait, I was like goops up when I saw Henry Cavill back as Superman in Black Adam, which didn't last long. Didn't last long at all. Black Adam, we need to talk. But what are you talking about? With the answers, guys. You can't just leave us like that, you know. But I was like, yeah, come on, you know, when I saw that scene. When that character showed, you know, fuck it. Georgie people probably know about it, because apparently it's in the TV spots. My guess, because knowing how... My guess, if you tell that Wonder Woman is in the movie, maybe people are going to see our film. I said that, so, you know, sorry if I spoiled that if you didn't know. But when Wonder Woman shows up, and it's Gal Gadot, I had the biggest grin on my face. I had the greatest grin. I had tears in my eyes. I was like, this is Wonder Woman. This is Wonder Woman. And it's a neat scene. It's a funny scene, like emotional scene. And also hearing that theme, that I was like, yes, please, no, please let's, you know, if everyone goes, can she stay, please, as a Diana. And it sounds like she, you know, rumor has it she's quite open to come back. If they want to, or that, you know, if they want to go a different Wonder Woman, different direction or whatever. But like, you know, she's the Daredevil as a good person. But outside of those moments, it's nothing. It's just a big spectacle movie, and it's gonna be a fun time. I wouldn't show. This is a movie that you won't buy digitally, but you'll, like, when it's on HBO Max or whatever streaming service, you're gonna watch it. Because it's like, oh yeah, this is a neat little fun film, and yeah, you know, It's it's just some good humor and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's what Fury of the Gods are, and Fury of the Gods is. It's not probably gonna be that film that you're gonna watch over and over again. It is a funny movie, which is kind of surprised. It's kind of like if Robin was the main character, not Batman. That's basically what it felt like sometimes. But those moments where you work. But yeah, it's a spectacle movie, and it's nothing, and that's they went for the bigger the better, and try to work out what didn't click with the audiences, and I think it's going to hurt fans of the first film, but might get an audience. Because personally, I will say this, I think this movie is better than the first film. And it's not because the not that, but yeah, I mean it's a better movie than Black Adam. Hell, if it makes less money than Black Adam, I'll be like, God, how much faith has that's when you realize how much has the audience lost faith of DC and why they need to have to just reboot. This is why they need to reboot. If Shazam Fury of the Gods makes less money than Black Adam. And Black Adam, which was a movie that had no doubt the biggest movie star starring it as a superhero who's kind of built to be a superhero, unable to crack 400 mil. You wonder why they're thinking of soft rebooting this universe. And might be having a movie to explain it all. Them doing the comic thing. Oh, they're doing the comic thing. If you don't know, in comics, anytime that mainly DC wants to full-on reboot their universe, they always do a big event to explain the universe, and I guess so that in a way they have a continuity since 1938, since the first issue of Superman. There's a continuity and there's a reason why everything looks different and changes and all that kind of stuff. And Flashpoint was that for the New 52, so they're doing it again here. But anyway, for the second to last film in this timeline, yeah, I had a good time, entertaining. Might watch it again when it's on Netflix or HBO Max or binge, wherever you're happy. But I probably won't digitally buy it or whatever on Amazon or whatever. So yeah, good time. Yeah, I think a thumbs up if you spend your money on it.